Hello, hello, hello. We are finally making a video. It is 5:05 p.m. and today is Thursday, February 1. It's a tongue breaker. We're going into the summertime now. I am so happy about this. Fantastic. Thursday, February 1, 2024. This year is gonna be the year of my life. I feel it. Yes. And the baby dog is feeling good. We already went outside for a long time. I did gardening, I did composting, breathing fresh, cold air into my lungs. Kitchen composting, household composting, dog dung composting, bio-waste composting, all composting. I saw 2 gigantic earthworms the size of my fingers. I'm not exaggerating. And they were contracted and they were as big as my fingers. And if they expand, they would be a foot long. Amazing, with rings around them, different color rings, like kind of purplish pink and gray. Awesome individuals are they. And they all have their distinct personality. It's the truth. If you pick one up, most people are afraid to pick them up. If you pick one up, then the first one could be agitated about it. And when they're agitated and afraid, they go into hyperconvulsion like this here. Like a lasso. And then they kringle and they do all kinds of things. And then you have to bring them to a earthy composted place. The best is into the compost bins. And you pick the other one up and the other one is completely relaxed and sluggish. So that's what I observe a lot in earthworms. And they don't have gender, so you can't attribute it to any gender. They are hermaphrodites, okay, so they're the so-called sweat-born, as Helena Petrovna Blavatsky calls them. And now that opens another Pandora's box of information if I get into that. But Helena Petrovna is talking about in the Secret Doctrines, so that would go way out of my way, of course, to get into the evolution of the different monads, the different monad lineages here on Earth. So, which is something that very few people believe. And here, wait, I have to get this out from under him. I gotta get this out from under him. There, okay, there. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's the good pumpkin. My pumpkin boat, yes, my pumpkin boat. Oh yes. See that pumpkin head here? He has to have it warm because you see, he has short hair. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes, those are kisser. They are kissers. They are kissers and lickers. They are kissers and the kisser licker. The kisser licker. The kisser licker. Yes, the kisser and licker. And he's also a very brave soldier. Because what happened today is I was in the bathroom. I just came out of the shower. And I was standing naked in my bathroom. And the baby dog was in the hallway. And all of a sudden, they were like, I don't know, it sounded like 100 fighter jets coming low flying from west to east over our house, right over our house. I mean, they were like so close to our roof. I'm only guessing. Maybe they were just above the tree line, just above the power height line. We don't have overland power here, but I'm just to get an idea on how low they were flying. They were flying like, yes, you are my everything. You are my everything. Oh yeah. They were flying like, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 100 feet above our house. I couldn't believe it. I have never heard something that loud in terms of being here on the ground and an aircraft flying above us. So I mean, that happened many times that an aircraft flew above us. Helicopters, airplanes, like one-person airplanes, charter airplanes, cargo airplanes, all kinds of military airplanes, but never this close to our roof, like directly above our roof. And when I went outside afterwards later, after I got dressed, I went outside just to smell the air, and it smelled like a chemical in the air. That could be my paranoia and all of this. Sorry, I have that's why I splattered something on me. That's so embarrassing. Okay, that's why I have the scarf over me. So, yeah, it smelled like something weird. It smelled like some chemical, some kind of plastic burned or something. That's what it smelled like. But it was really scary. It was so frightening. I prayed to the blue God. Standing there, I felt so vulnerable, just coming out of the shower and all of that. And the baby dog, he is a fearless fighter. So the baby dog ran outside with his hair standing up on the neck and on the back. He has very short hair, but you can still see when the hair is standing up. So it looks like there's a stripe of this. It looks like the color is different on the coat. So, but it's like velvet material that has been brushed against the stream. So that's what he looked like. He was your baby dog, take it easy, baby, take it easy. I have to do this like 100 times per day. But it's important that people do this, particularly with a short-haired dog, that you have to put a jacket over them. It's very important, okay? Very important that they stay warm, even in a warm home. This house is not warm. I don't know. It's like right now it's not that cold outside. It's somewhere around 50 degrees, but I mean that's not cozy warm. But we have heat lamps that heat up right here where we're sitting, but the air in the house is not warm. So we always have to make sure that he has a warm jacket or sleeping bag or something covering him. It's very important. And I like to have a scarf on to cover my neck and also my lungs, because that feels much better. So yeah, like this here, this is better. And that's why I also make my sweaters. I make my sweaters out of a very fluffy blanket type of material, like this type of material or this type of material. This is actually a rest, fabric rest, and I use the fabric rest to wrap around my neck, and it feels really, really cozy. And the sweaters, I like to make sweaters that come up high here, the turtleneck sweaters. So that are very, very cozy. So I like that. Feels good. And I made 2 of these here. The Till Eulenspiegel. Till Eulenspiegel was Till Eulenspiegel. That's another subject I can get into. I don't know when he lived, but that was like around 1200 or something in Europe. That was an intellectual who liked to read, and he was smart and he outwitted everyone, and he ended up in the court of the royal court of the king. And he got the king to use him as his entertainer, as his comedian. And so they were called, at that time they were called Hofnarr in Germany, and in English they were called jesters or jokers. And they often wore funny hats with different colors, and they were standing up like this with different tips and stuff like that. And they also wore funny clothes, they had different colors for each leg, different color pants and stuff like this, and I have never seen a female jester. I think the women, they took themselves too seriously in their femininity. Femininity had to be a very specific way. You weren't allowed to be a clown. So that changed, luckily. So lucky for me, because I think that's ridiculous. And even if I lived around 1100, I would still. But they would probably burn me as a witch then if I became a jester, as a woman, So a woman's not supposed to do that, and wear jester clothes and wear funny clothes and male clothes and ride a horse like the men do. And the women weren't even allowed to spread their legs on a horse. Can you believe it? That is so idiotic. Oh gosh, they had to sit sideways on the horse. It's so ridiculous. That makes you just cringe when you look at the past, So, but much more is to come into the future. We are moving into the future, where we're all gonna be naked in our bathrooms, and where we go naked into our garden to smell the air, which is difficult to do when you have neighbors looking at this era. But in the future, it doesn't matter if you go naked into your garden. I can clean up the dog poop while I'm naked in the future. So because nobody's gonna care in the future. Okay, we all know the anatomy of the different people, and it's not going to be such a it's not going to be such an overstimulating excitement or shame or whatever. People are always shaming everyone. Like, you're not allowed to go anywhere naked, and you have to, it has to be blended out. All of this is going to fall away in the future. So people are going to be bathing in ponds naked. Why make a bathing suit wet, when you just have to take it off anyway and then wring out the water and hang it up? It's all, why all that trouble, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's already more progressive in the Scandinavian countries, also northern Germany, where they have nudist beaches, and I've been on those. So that's already much more progressive. Now with the influx of people that are coming in, with refugees that are coming in from countries where they're still in the Stone Ages, in their development, in their psychological development, of course they all bring that with them, the Stone Age, and then they want to revert the time back to the Middle Ages, and they would also want to, I'm sure they would want to bring the Inquisition back, and the witch hunt and all of that is what they want to bring with them to the northern countries that welcomed them with open arms. Yes, that's what they want to do. It's a pity, it's sad, very sad. So that's why I become a dictator with my videos, and I say absolutely no to that. Okay, so absolutely no. You have to have the guts to be a dictator. Friedrich Nietzsche said that. Okay, the will to power. Okay, you have to have the will to power, not to be an asshole over other people, but to stand your ground when it comes to justice. When it comes to creating order, justice, fairness, egalitarianism, and so on. Okay, we have to have. It takes guts. You can't be a total pushover from society. So you have to stand up for justice and for what is good. A lot of people don't even know what is good. That's a lot of people, they have never even put their mind into it. So I have my whole life. I'm a very problem-solving oriented brain and body. Okay, so I am a creator. I'm a problem solver out of compassion, because I'm a mother animal. I want to solve problems long term, not just short term problem solving. That too, but particularly put your mind into long term problem solving. And you have to be flexible to do this. Times change. There are different things that are happening. There may be things happening that we don't foresee. There may be an ET spaceship coming down. Obviously, I watched a real great sci-fi movie. I forgot the title now. Dang, I might have to look for it again. But a real great sci-fi movie, I believe, was probably written by a woman. They are always better. They don't have the male competitiveness stuff in it. The male figures in the films are more fair and more peaceful. And the heroes are always the women, of course. Great film where a woman who had nothing wrong with her, there was a man in a wheelchair. He was willing to go have his brain put into a robot, as a cyborg. And he did, and that didn't work out. His brain was too flooded. The brain was not used to this because it started to be flooded with a fluid that they had to create that would work, but the brain wasn't used to it. So because that all had to be circulated with this robot body, this is something very, very realistic that will be coming up in the future. So it had to be circulated with a serum or blood type of fluid that is not red, but that is a fluid that is very much adapted to flooding and cleaning out the brain and bringing oxygen to the brain. So, but the brain wasn't used to it, so that guy, that brain died, and it's very, very sad in that film. And so because that failed, then this lady that was working with the scientist, she was a scientist too. She was still like 35, young and beautiful and healthy, and she decides to have her brain put in one of those robots, and they tried to talk her out of it, but first she was against it. She was too afraid, but then she changed her mind, and she had that put in, and it worked, and she was not afraid. When the brain was in this robot body, the cyborg machine, basically, then cyborg is when you have a part of your body merged with a machine, so into a symbiotic unity. I'm personally against it. I would never do this. I think that's horrific. I mean, it's a nightmare to have your brain trapped in something like this where you don't even have much legislation over it anymore. You couldn't even turn it off. I mean, it's kind of scary, the whole thing. I mean, even if you could turn it off, I mean, that would be really, really scary to be in a cyborg body like this, where you can feel something, but you can't feel pain. You can feel certain pressure in the hands, the robot hands, and touch and pressure and all of that, and it has to have a certain dexterity, but beyond that point of pressure, you don't feel any more pressure, you don't feel any more pain. So if something would squish your hand, you wouldn't feel pain. And that's how it should be. I mean, that's obvious. That's how it should be. Also for the full machines that have a robotic brain as well. I watch a bunch of very interesting films, which I want to get into and cover in this video and in the following videos, because there is a lot to talk about in regards to the films that I have watched. So out of being totally bored and having nothing else, having nobody to talk to, I end up watching movies, which I really don't want to do, but then I get addicted to it, I get lured into it. The titles lure me in, specific subjects like hospital and science and neurology. Those are the things that tend to lure me in. Sci-fi in particular something that has to do with brain uploading and cyborgism and AGI development and all of this, ASI development, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. So, it's very interesting. It's not just sci-fi anymore. It's like people are making it. Elon Musk has a fully sentient robot. No, I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, if you see that robot, you think for sure that's a person. I mean, the movements, you think that's an acrobat from Vegas. The movements are 100% human-like dancer type of. So, unbelievable. I mean, that robot is basically, that robot can really be an assistant. Way advanced from Honda Asimov. Honda Asimov who opens a bottle, but it takes the Honda Asimov a long time to open the bottle, right? With that robot hand. Elon Musk, everything's quick, just like a human. That's how advanced Elon Musk is, and not because of other people or other people's inventions. No, that's his own creation. That's his own engineering. Okay, that's his genius, his own engineering. Just like in the movie Ex Machina, that crazy scientist who is starting to work with quantum brains and stuff like that, and putting them together into 100% fully functioning, indistinguishable robots that are just like humans, humanoid, fully functioning robots. And that's what Elon Musk has created, way ahead of anyone else. Okay, and then people are trying to still slander him and trying to not even hear that, that how advanced he is, and they wanna think that they want to be in denial about his genius. They want to think that he is not as advanced when in reality he's like way advanced from anyone. More advanced than the Chinese or the Japanese. Okay, way more advanced. And the Japanese and Chinese are way more, and the South Koreans are way more advanced than the rest of the world. Okay, but Elon Musk is still way advanced, like light years advanced from them. So that puts things into perspective. Elon Musk has an AGI. Okay, so he's the first one who has a fully sentient AGI. His cars are also, they have the same brain, fully sentient, fully independently thinking, fully self-recognition, like judgment making, thinking for themselves, self-awareness, cognition, ability to think about into the future, abstract thinking, everything, and that, all of that, way advanced to a human brain. Okay, so that puts things into perspective for any hater out there who still hates Elon Musk and wants to debunk him and so on. So, yeah, think about this, please. Amazing. So Elon Musk has all of this, what the sci-fi movies are talking about. I don't know about the brain, putting it into... I don't know if he has that, where you can cut a brain out of a human skull and put it into a cyborg, into a robot. Probably not, because a brain has to feel completely safe, To put a brain into they have tried brain implants and transplants that never worked out. Okay, so they tried head transplants that didn't work out yet. Okay, so it's a very, very, very complex mechanism. The whole head, the neck, the spinal cord. The brain is connected to the spinal cord. The brain and the spinal cord is it's like one unit. You can't sever that. If you sever the brain from the rest of all of this, from your lumbar system, that there's a whole lot going on in terms of sensation and processing. There's a whole lot going on in the spinal column. Okay, so in intervertebrate space and intervertebrate neuronal activity, so way more than anyone can think. It's not like you cut a head off a doll and sew it onto another doll. It doesn't work that way. So it's a very highly complex biological system, obviously. And I'm against these type of horror trials, and I'm against all of that. To me, this is horror movie stuff. This is horror, absolute terror, is that. So, but when I heard these fighter jets flying above our house that low, and I don't know if they are fighter jets, but they sounded, Paul heard them too, and even though he started hearing, he was wondering what that is, because that was so incredibly loud. It was, and it wasn't like a helicopter. Helicopters can fly fast, but not that fast. Okay, very fast, and it went on for at least 10 seconds or 15 seconds. This incredibly loud sound right over the roof. That means they were flying very low and very high speed with incredibly loud engines, and there were a whole lot, maybe 100. They're flying right in some kind of flock or something, right above the roof. And it went on for several seconds, not like and gone, but it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that long, okay? And they must have been 100. And I have no idea why they would fly over the residential area in a rural area in Oregon. But I have absolutely no idea what they're trying to do. Normally they're going over the Area 51 and Utah, those inland areas, where they have their military aircraft testing range and stuff like this. So I have no idea why they are flying over here. And I have so much paranoia, and I know this is totally idiotic, because I shouldn't have paranoia, because I'm not some kind of person that would be standing in the way of the mafia, or the corporate mafia. So I should fall under the radar, right? But my paranoia is so intense that the first thought that comes to my mind is they are trying to scare me, or they're trying to threaten me, or it's just a knee-jerk reaction. So it has to do with my mental illness, and that can escalate anytime into psychosis and schizophrenia and so on. But I'm living a holistic life. I'm on the healing path, so I don't let myself get into this type of mental illness. I don't allow this type of paranoia to escalate further. I want to heal the paranoia instead of letting it escalate like my ex-boyfriend Norbert did in the late 80s. He didn't know better, had no idea what he was doing. Okay, so, and the doctors just pumped him up with chemicals, and that was it. He never got the chance even to go on a healing journey, and I feel infinitely sad for him. I didn't know better either at that time. Oh my gosh, we were in our early 20s. We didn't know. How can we know better, right, at that time? So we thought, when you get sick, you go to the psychiatrist, because them psychiatrists know so much more than you. No, they don't. They only know chemicals. And they only know poisonous chemicals that are poisonous for people and not good, right? That's all they know, but they get kickback money for that, for prescribing it, okay? It is a mafia, but we didn't know that at that time. So, I mean, I tried everything I could, I said, I'm going to LA, I'm going to Arjanov, I'm going to do primal therapy. You can come with me, but he didn't have the money. His parents didn't have the money. My parents certainly didn't have enough money to pay for him too. So they could only afford to pay for my therapy, or maybe for my brother's therapy. But my brother would never do something that I'm doing. There's some kind of offstandishness or something. So he did something that was not near as effective and cost even more. But whatever, that's his life. It's not something for me to decide for him. I gave him good advice throughout my life. I gave my brother good advice. I gave Norbert also the only advice that I knew at that time. Okay. And beyond that, I can't do any more than giving people advice. Still today, I mean, I can lead you to the water source, but I can't make you drink. I can give you the information, but I can't force you to use that information. But at least I give people the information that I know to be true. Okay, so I'm on the healing path, and that's wonderful. It's fantastic. So the second thought I had about the fighter jets was, maybe they're starting to fly low, high speed over people's roofs in rural areas, particularly in rural areas, not in the woke areas, not in the city areas, but in the rural areas where people are opposed to Joe Biden, right? So, and they're flying low over them to kind of like a message, like, we are at war now. You better vote for the mafia, right? Because the mafia is already running this country. So, no, it doesn't work that way. I mean, even if Bozo the clown is the president, and the Bozo the clown is way better than the Biden mafia, by the way. But this is some old saying. Bozo the clown is president, and you're at war, then the public goes into this patriotic type of mode where they'll just re-elect that Bozo the clown because they're too afraid to vote for someone else in times of war. There's some kind of weird psychological mechanism that doesn't apply to me. But it has come so far now with the Biden mafia that the vast majority of people in the United States see it for what it is. So they're not going to vote for Bozo the clown anymore. Okay, they see how bad the Biden administration is. They see that the Biden administration is the mafia. It is the corporate agenda. It's the Illuminati. It is the Rothschild puppeteering dictatorship. 100%, full force. Okay. That's what Jim Morris has been talking about. That's what David Icke has been talking about. But people weren't listening because they thought that can't be. Yeah, yeah, because it's just too bad to be true, right? Unfortunately, these people have been looking into this from all angles their whole lives, and that is fortunate, and unfortunately what they're saying is true. What they are observing is the truth. Okay, so there is this activity behind stage that has been unfolding and going on. I would say it has been going on for a very long time, for thousands of years, for thousands. So there are, and Dr. Greer talks about this. So I'm sad that Dr. Greer is not praising Elon Musk. Very sad about this, which makes me not trust Dr. Greer. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to say it. So I want to trust Dr. Greer. I want to like this man, but the moment he talks shit, or he talks disrespectfully about Tesla, or he didn't, not necessarily against Elon Musk, but Tesla is Elon Musk, because the Tesla Corporation, the fake Tesla, that's not respectful to Elon Musk. That's not giving Elon Musk the respect that he deserves for trying to save this planet. Okay, that's my message to Dr. Greer. I'm very disappointed in Dr. Greer about this. Very sad. I'm so sad about this that I don't even want to watch further interviews with him. So that kind of debunked itself. He debunked himself by being disrespectful towards Tesla and Elon Musk. Very bad. I mean, you can still say, yeah, the real Nikola Tesla and all of that, and that's amazing what he did, and it's true, yes, absolutely. But that shouldn't debunk Elon Musk. Elon Musk is just working with the stuff that he's allowed to work with, because he's not living here on this planet alone. We live here with that mafia together. And someone of that magnitude of Elon Musk, he can't just, he could do what Nikola Tesla did. He could create this universal power grid and all of it. But it's also not completely, I think it's not completely safe what Nikola Tesla did. So it's interesting, it's great, but I think it's not fully safe. It hasn't been fully thought through, because that energy that he's creating from his environment is still doing something to the environment. Then is doing something on a subatomic level to the environment. It's a little bit like the CERN accelerator. Okay, so that's why I personally don't find it too safe. What Elon Musk is creating, he's creating safe, free energy that is completely safe and completely in tune with the Earth. It is a passive solar reception energy harnessing, okay, that is completely safe and well for everyone. It doesn't take electricity from the environment. It doesn't create some kind of quantum field entanglement or quantum disarrangement or something. It doesn't swap energy from whatever, a surrounding crop field or whatever, that the environment, the plants, all of those depend on a stable environment. That means they depend also on a quantum field stability. You can't just starting to experiment around with that kind of stuff, with subatomic, with ether type of stuff. You can't just, and I'm sure that Nikola Tesla, what he has been experimenting with, I mean, this is definitely true. I believe this. I do. I also believe that he has tapped into other dimensions, because he tapped into something where he could actually hear voices talk. Lots and lots of voices talk. And he thought these were the voices of ghosts. And that's a possibility. That's a possibility that there are like thousands of ghosts that are all starting to get his attention at the same time. They were also talking among each other. So, and I heard this from an abandoned hospital one time, somewhere in the Midwest, where people went to, and where psychic people went to, and they heard also thousands of people talk there. When they were completely just 2 or 3 people there that went to visit, and they heard thousands of people talk to each other. They heard doctors, they heard patients, they heard people screaming and all of that. And that is because those are energy bundles and ego energies, souls that have not freed themselves from what has been going on there. They're way beyond, but they have taken their living spacesuit off, but they're still tethered to this energetically, and they have not. And I just want to heal all of this. I want to help them heal. I want to help them find peace. But I'm not a god. I can't just go there. It would break my mind, I would also die from a heart attack. I couldn't do it. So I'm not like this completely indestructible god or goddess going there and saying, I heal you all, and I can say this, but I also have to tell them, don't come at me, because it's too much for Mama. I can't deal with this. Okay, I can only deal with 1 or 2 at the most, in any given locality. And I tell them, don't show yourself to me, because if you do, I'm gonna die, and then I can't help you. Then I will also go into the ether, and then I'm gonna float around there, and I don't know if I can help you from there. So, and I think we can only help someone from the physical. So, and they respect that. So I say, you can talk to me in thought form, you can talk to me in dream form, but don't scare me too much. Okay, so my own soul scares me in my worst nightmares. It's my own soul. But I've seen souls from others that have scared me real bad in nightmares too, where I would wake up screaming. Those are very unrestful souls, obviously, and I always, when I wake up, I continue to talk to them, and I say, you have no other choice. You have to go into your own mind, and you go up there, you go towards the ocean, above the ocean, and you go up you go to China, you go to Japan, and then you go also into the sky. Okay, you have to move on. You can't stay in one place. You have to go to your star constellation that you feel comfortable with, and you have to do the healing paths there. And don't terrorize anyone else. Don't do it. It's very important information. And that helps them, and they feel very grateful for that. So, and that makes me feel infinitely grateful when I feel like I worked something through with an entity. I feel infinite gratitude for this. This is more. I have more gratitude for that than anything else, because an entity, a soul, a disembodied soul, or a body soul, a soul that's still in a body, in a living body. Okay. When they are suffering, they are unrestful, they are coming from eons of suffering. Okay. And they're still new souls. And they still had eons of suffering and collective suffering and inherited suffering from all kinds of things, from this lifetime, from their DNA, from their ancestors, from ancestor inherited pain, and from karmic pain. All of these things. Then they don't know how to deal with. They don't have an overview on. Oh, thank you, Blue God. Oh, thank you, Blue God. 555. Thank you, 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 Blue God. Oh, thank you, Blue God. Oh God, I needed that. Oh God. So particularly with this subject here. Okay, the Blue God is watching over all of us. Okay, we don't have to be afraid. But the only path that we have is the path into our own minds, and that's the path forward, and that's the healing path. That's the only path we have. We have no other way. There's no other sideways or whatever backwards. It doesn't work. Going after someone, eliciting something from someone, or retaliation or whatever, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for your life. It doesn't work for the other person's life. It doesn't teach someone a lesson. It only causes problems. It causes the other person to suffer more. They're already suffering enough. And it makes the world worse. It doesn't help us. We're all in this together. This is a collective. This is our world. Okay? The world, not just here among humans, not just here among us earthian beings, animals and humans, and plants, and all beingness, but also beyond, also the galaxy, also all galaxies, also infinite galaxies and infinite space. And whatever is out there, there's a 100% guarantee that there is life out there. 100%. Okay. This is a logical assumption. This is a mathematical conclusion. Okay. Because out there is infinity. And infinity, there are infinite possibilities. So life is out there. Different existences are out there. That's obvious. And it's good and it's wonderful. Really, really great. So, but regarding the fighter jets, if they're trying to scare people now into Bozo the clown wants to be re-elected with war declaration and scaring people with fighter jets, with ridiculous fighter jet training over people's roofs, this is first of all totally unethical. It is criminal to do this. It scares people. Some older people can get a heart attack from that. Okay, I couldn't get a heart attack from that. But I'm standing there naked. I feel totally vulnerable, and what do I do? I don't even have a phone. I don't even know who to call. I don't know what to do if we're being attacked or something. So this vulnerability feels really bad. I pray to the blue God. Okay. So the baby dog is fearless. He will go after anything and anyone. He would go after an ET. He would go after a tank. He would go after a SWAT team. He would fly at them. And even if that would be a suicidal mission, he would do it, because he puts the safety of his family above anything else. And so do I. Okay. And that is what a living being does, who is fully in the now and who is fully attuned to that what is and to the loved ones around you. That is what love means. I'm going to end the video with this. I'll make more videos and talk more about all of these things that I've been wanting to talk about. Okay. Peace and love.